broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans! Welcome back to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. After Show here on AfterBuzz TV.
So much happiness.
Yes, so much happiness in this room. Talking about Season 2, Episode 2, Heavy is the Hand. I'm Matt Lieberman. Joining us this week, special guest, Mr. Zach Wilson.
Hey, guys.
He brought his S.H.I.E.L.D. shirt. Hell yeah.
I'm excited.
And Joyce Ajouri is here.
I am here, and I'm not wearing a cool shirt.
Oh, yes, you are.
Like
You're
that.
Very
pretty.
awesome shirt.
Very animalistic.
Yeah.
Absorbent man can absorb that and be covered in cheetah spots.
Just be totally
Be
feline.
leopard spots.
All right,
Snow leopard, I think. Yeah.
go
He's
with
a
that.
leopard that can
Let's go
change
with
his
that.
spots.
Yes. Kristen Carroll and Megan Salinas, unfortunately, not able to join us this week, but they will return next week. Same AfterBuzz time, same AfterBuzz station. But we're in very, very capable hands with Mr. Zach Wilson, who, if you have not seen him before, is one of my very dear friends and is a great host here on AfterBuzz and does a lot of fun nerd shows with me.
Yay.
I'm excited to nerd out. I have some fun bits. that
Yeah,
to talk
dude. You've
about.
wanted to get on this show for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got some good knowledge going.
Yeah, so we pick up basically, like, immediately where we left off last week. In many ways, this is part 2 of the first episode of the season. We start with Hunter, who's still reeling from the last-minute attack by Creole, the death of Izzy Hartley, who we come to discover was his paramour, his lady love, and he is captured by the army in short order after seeing May just speed off after Creole, and he's very quickly captured, and we don't quite know where he's going. Meanwhile, May is pursuing Creole in hot pursuit, and she has a shot. She has a clean shot, and Coulson tells her to stand down. She keeps, brushing up against his orders until he's finally like, "Hey, I'm the who's the director here? I'm the director. Back off." And she's like, "Fine."
It wasn't that long ago that she was sort of like his keeper.
Yeah.
So.
Well, she still is in a way. She's his confidant, his only confidant.
Yeah.
Because he shut Sky out, and we'll talk about that. Certainly. Did you guys enjoy the episode? I had a lot of fun watching it.
It was exciting.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
It was really good from beginning to end. There was not a part I was bored in.
Yeah, I feel like the show has really hit the ground running this season. They know what they want to be. There isn't any kind of searching. It is very sure-footed the way that they are not only expanding the world, they have established all of the core key conflicts for the second season in these 2 episodes. I mean, if you would just pardon us while we break them down right here at the top. Yeah. So we've got, go ahead.
It's just they finally have the freedom to just do a season of TV without. There isn't a Marvel movie coming out between now and Ant-Man next July, which will be after the season finale. So they don't have to worry about tying into anything, like shoehorning in an episode here where we deal with Thor stuff or anything like that.
Instead, what it seems like they're doing, because we got to see a quick flash of Peggy Carter once again this week, is instead they are threading one narrative across 2 series, where we're going to get 10 episodes of this show, then we're going to go immediately into Agent Carter, where we're going to learn more and recontextualize everything we know about what's going on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then when that season's done, we come back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with all this new knowledge and kick it even to an even higher stratosphere.
It's almost like a multi-episode flashback sequence.
Well, it's kind of, I mean, if you were to do what Buffy and Angel did, but instead of doing it, at the same time, it's taking a break and catching you up on this whole different story that applies to everything and then bringing yourself back. book. It's very cool.
And this is going to do so well for, people who aren't comic book fans of the comics and people who just like the movies and whatnot, because it's going to add a lot more to, a lot more knowledge to their to their watching.
Well, if that little teaser from last week, like the by the opening with Agent Carter and the
Howling Commandos,
Dum Dum Dugan and all that, like that's going to be a blast. And the news and gospel, we'll talk about.
We'll talk about that later in a moment, or in like 40 minutes. But so we've got our key conflicts. We've got Herr Whitehall and Hydra trying to take over the world using the obelisk. We've got the mysterious Doctor, Sky's father, and Raina now in possession of the obelisk. And we've got Sky wanting to be let in by Coulson, who doesn't feel like he can talk to her, maybe because he's afraid of what he's becoming and what she may become. He still feels responsible for her having the GH blood inside of her, having this potentially Kree blood inside of her. We've got May trying to take care of Coulson, who is, being incredibly resistant to this. We've got Fitz missing Simmons, semi-broken, not just by her leaving, but by his accident last season, and him slowly but surely starting to come out of his shell. And we've got Ward locked up in the basement, who's just stewing, and he wants Sky to forgive him so that they can have all kinds of shit
so
babies.
Many people are hindered.
Yeah, I know. What happened to OTP? I was down with OTP. Yeah, you know me? I do know you. You're an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan. So, May stands down, but she's continuing to pursue Creel in surveillance mode. Meanwhile, Sky and Trip return with a Quinjet, and they get a kind of brusque congratulations from Coulson, and for the first time, Sky calls him out and is like, "Good
what's
work.
your deal, man?"
Yeah. We were best buds before, and now anytime that I try to do anything that might help us, you continue to just like ignore me or tell me not to. I tell you that we've got the same symbols that Garrett was writing and that we know about, and the obelisk had them almost like Braille, and you don't want me to pursue it. What's your deal, man?
I think it was sort of like before. There was another power that Coulson felt was controlling the both of them. Mm-hmm. And now that he's on the other side of it, yes, he was sort of like a father figure before, but now he's like a grandfather figure where he has to like step back and
he has to detach.
Yeah, he has to be he can't be that close to her because he has to be the one who decides whether to hold back or give her stuff.
And also whether or not she has to go on a suicide mission. I mean, he is the director now. I mean, it's as I believe it was May says, you're the director now, or he's the director now. He can't just care about the team. He's got to care about everyone, the entire world. That's his responsibility. So obviously these relationships are going to change, and I think that's one of the core conflicts of this season. Who is Coulson when he can't be a friend, when he can't be the velvet hand, the gentle hand, and instead he has to be the gruff commander, the general, which is not necessarily his role.
Because we know he doesn't like it. It's totally clear that he also isn't comfortable in that position, but he knows it's necessary. Mm-hmm. And I think Sky's the only one that's kind of questioning it so much and not so understanding, is because she knows that he knows something. And I don't know, to not be close to someone who might know something about you is, hard for her.
I wonder if he thinks that the serum being with the both of them, that he needs to be apart from her.
You think
that could somehow react?
That having two GHs in the same room, or working on symbols, or writing symbols, having an episode at the same time,
if they
could be
somehow.
Catastrophic.
Or that, because she's not having those visions, as far as we know.
The words of creation.
Yeah, as Garrett called them. So I wonder if he thinks that by involving her, she'll start down that path.
He's trying to protect her from having these episodes at all.
Because remember, that was the whole thing. It's like he left himself a note. Don't investigate this. Mm-hmm. You can't know about this, or it's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
But is he doing her any good by doing that?
I mean, if he thinks it's gonna kill her.
But that's the thing. Having her not be in the know is ultimately doing her a disservice.
Yeah.
It's being kind of, I mean, I don't want to put like too harsh a term on it, but it's kind of ageist. I know he cares about her, but I think he's like, you know, she's too young. She's somebody who she's just going to keep pushing at it and pushing at it and pushing at it, and she's not going to be able to handle it when it comes. I'm just trying to protect her for as long as I can until I can't.
But the sooner she can figure it out, the sooner maybe she could help both of them.
But that was the whole thing. That was like why he left that clearance, that like a video of himself saying, you can't tell people about this if they have it, because that somehow kills them to know what happened. Because that was other test subjects had died because they knew about this, like being injected with it. They knew about the whole process, and he was worried that it would happen to him.
Yeah.
And that was why he had to erase his own memory. So he can't tell Skye, or Skye faces the fate of all the test subjects.
Yeah. You know, I'm very curious as to why that bit wasn't in, like, there wasn't like a previously on at the top of the season. Because it would really, just like, I didn't even remember that, and having that bit of information clarifies his motives all the more. Of course, that's why he's not telling her, because he isn't even supposed to know. He considers the knowledge very dangerous. He wasn't having these episodes before he found that out, so he's concerned that, you know, even knowing about it may activate it in her blood. Interesting.
Because I guess that would depend, like, whatever put this knowledge into them could be so charged with some kind of like secret or ability or just trigger mechanism that's like, if you're aware of it, it moves to a next stage. It moves to like level 2.
Yeah,
I don't know, whatever process.
Level 2. Hey, Coulson got rid of all the levels.
Yeah.
Okay, we de-leveled the system,
The
and
levels
it works.
he knew about.
So Hunter gets just like thrown out of a car in the middle of a field, and then a helicopter lands. Loving the budget increase this season.
Oh, totally apparent.
And Talbot is like, you know, like, Lieutenant, get on my copter. I got some stuff to talk to you about. I love his presence this season. It adds something that I feel like the show needs, which is like not a villain, but like a light adversary. Somebody who makes things more complicated, who's going to be, you know, involved a lot of the time, that is a factor, but ultimately we know our heroes can outsmart. That we're going to have somebody that we can circumvent every week and be like, oh good, our guys are still awesome. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's still trying in vain to be in charge. You know, a brigadier general and all that. But
such a noble name. Brigadier.
Yeah, and that stash. I miss my stash.
It looks a lot better this year.
Yeah, his mustache.
Yeah,
it's not so obviously fake.
Maybe they made him grow it out. after they had to like digitally
we can't have this.
We can't. Yeah, we can't talk about this. We just gotta let it be. So Talbot is like, look, you know, you got to tell us where S.H.I.E.L.D. is. We'll give you anything. I've got a senator with very deep pockets who wants to know what they are. Are we assuming that this is the same senator from the Iron Man films, and also from Cap 2, the one who works for Hydra, the one played by
Possibly.
Gary Shandling, or did he die in Cap 2?
I don't know if he died, but I feel like they took out the majority of those Hydra people because they sort of came out, a lot of them, during Cap 3 or Cap 2. Cap 2.
Okay. Well, it's just that's the only like senator we've introduced so far. So if that's a new character, you know, that's one thing. But I don't think it's anyone we've met before. If it's not that guy,
Coulson's got people too.
That's true. It's very, very true. So Hunter is like, you know, I want $2 million, and I want a proper burial for Izzy. You know, your people branded her a terrorist. I want her family to know what happened. I want there to be a proper burial. She deserves it. She was a soldier. She did what was right. And, you know, and Talbot's like, done. Okay, fine. Yeah, so meanwhile, we've got this stealth stealth device that they took out of the Quinjet, trying to reverse engineer it for the bus, and they're being very sensitive about Fitz. It's like, it's going to crush him that we have this, that he wasn't able to get to it on his own, and Mac is like, he'll figure it out. And Fitz is right there, and he's like, "Look, man, you were really close. You were on it with the," and I don't even remember exactly what they said, but basically that you have to cancel out the sound as well, and that he was really close on that. So that was great. I like how the bond between Fitz and Mac developed this episode.
It was so natural.
Oh, awesome.
It was really good.
Right.
Yeah.
He needs a friend, and I love Mac because he's kind of like Gentle Giant, you know, like he's very much, he wants to get the job done, but at the same time he's working with him almost like he's special needs.
But he's still treating him like
he
a
person.
Isn't.
He's the only person
He's
who's
the
not
only one.
He's the only person who's not treating him with kid gloves. Who's treating him like an adult.
And he knows that he can get whatever they need to get done. Mm-hmm. So
He's tough
he
love.
believes in him. Yeah. Definitely.
Which Fitz needs a little bit because no one's helping him by coddling him at this point.
Or leaving him alone.
Right.
Yeah.
And Ghost Simmons is coddling him to a ridiculous degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
'cause it's
moving his
him.
hand to give him the pieces of paper about Creel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Ghost Simmons can't bring him a sandwich.
Oh, his favorite sandwich.
Buffalo mozzarella.
Hashtag RIP sandwich. Yeah.
I could go for one right now.
Or hashtag sandwich RIP. So Fitz gets the bright idea. Well, I can't work on the cloaking anymore, but I could work on Creel. And he realizes, but he can't articulate it. You know, like I didn't solve this today. And I feel like everyone at home, or at least a lot of people, were like, "Oh, you solved it before," but we don't get to that until much later. Meanwhile, Hunter returns in a sweet-ass ride that gets its tires utterly slashed, and he reports back to Coulson. He's like, so yeah, this is what happened, and he told me to sell you out, and, I didn't tell them where we were, and, I shook all my guys, and I very much could have done that. But I would like both of these things. I would like Izzy to get a proper burial. And he was like, they didn't offer you anything else? No.
He knows him. No. He knows what else he asked for.
Did they offer me anything else? Sorry. Did they offer me anything else? I don't know.
On point.
I don't know. Coulson's like, well, we need you here. I'm glad you're back. We're going to get a line on Creel. We're going to figure this out. Meanwhile, May has followed Creel to this diner where he's supposed to exchange the obelisk, give it to Mr. Bakshi, who we meet later in the episode. Or I guess we had his voice in the last episode. Maybe we saw him, but we didn't get a name.
Maybe.
Last week.
Thank God for closed captioning. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known his name.
Yeah, we're professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do our homework.
We do our homework. And Creel, we discover, has a patch of obelisk skin, of just like a death skin, and this poor waitress accidentally brushes it, and she's gone, and May hears a scream from within, and she immediately leaps into action. Creel is already gone, and this woman is very quickly dying. It is very sad, and May ultimately has to come back home to the playground.
He's like the male Medusa.
Yeah, except instead of looking at you,
You just have to stroke his arm.
yeah, he's just too big and muscular. You can't resist stroking his arms. And bald, like God intended.
Was it Sky? It was Sky who was talking about he could change his skin.
He can change his skin to
any material. And I'm like, what material would be better? What material do you want specifically?
He did that when he'd absorbed the fabric. Even I was thinking, that's kind of cool.
Okay.
And then when he said he turned to rubber when he touched something.
Right. But I have to imagine
just something hard.
But skin is, I imagine, more comfortable than any of those.
That's true.
Then what if he turned into suede?
If he turned into wow. The Sultan of Suede, the King of Suede. Oh my goodness!
I don't want to start thinking
rock
about
hard
this.
suede dick. We could go down this road for a very long time. And
That's a new condom idea.
Yeah?
A very long time, Matt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, because suede is a thick fabric, so you're not going to really feel much through that suede.
That sounds unpleasant.
You don't
even have to wash it
Velvet.
off later.
Yeah, sateen. We could talk about this all night.
Any
Anyway,
material. That's all we need to know.
Any material. What was the name of the one that Raina gives him?
Carbine.
Carbine. Which
I was
absorbs
looking up.
energy.
I believe it's a real thing.
Oh.
Carbine, like, this is like, obviously the one on the show is a heightened version of it, but it's something about like binding cells together and like manipulating that. The way that they have it now is somewhat explosive.
You mean it doesn't come from stardust?
Yeah, stardust and miracles, no?
Well, maybe that's where like the natural version of what they're trying to make now. I don't even know. I couldn't even find this on a legit website, so it could be total BS.
Anyway, so Creel, totally upset and freaking out over his deaf arm, runs back to his truck and he's fishing through all of his samples of stuff and nothing's working. And he tries to call Bakshi and it's not working. He's very frustrated. Then he gets a call and he's like, you didn't show up. I'm freaking out. And he's like, you're going to deliver this thing. You're going to make it happen. Herr Whitehall deems it so. And that's going to be it. And then we'll help you. Proceed to the secondary drop point. Creel gets out of the van when he comes across Raina, who returns.
Whoa.
Always great to see her.
She is a vision.
Yeah, she is a
floral.
vision. In floral print. And
Floral princess.
yes. And she's also just very compelling. I mean, Zach, you've never been on the show. What do you think of Raina? What do you think? Do you like her? Do you hate her? Do you like her background? Or what do you think is going on?
I'm very intrigued by her.
Yeah. There's something going
Same
on
here.
there.
Yeah, there's a lot more to her than we've been introduced to yet. I have no clue what it could be.
It's like she's kind of naive, but she also is really into, the gifted and seeing what's different about these people and finding out and learning more about what makes them that way.
Yeah, she has this air of knowledge, but doesn't seem to have it.
Yeah.
Which is very intriguing.
That's
She's
true.
very zen. She just kind of she accepts that the world is larger than her understanding. She wants to know more about it. But at the same time, she feels so assured that she's going to be fine.
I also feel like she's a little childlike. I mean, the moment she hears praise, like from the mysterious doctor, where he was like, well done, she was like, oh, me? She's like, thank you. And I feel like the same thing when she kept trying to get the approval of the... oh my goodness, last season.
I want to say The Mentalist.
No,
but
not The Mentalist.
Yeah,
drawing a blank.
Is it Ian?
No, it's it's Garrett, but
not
what he was
omniscient.
called.
Oh.
Not the telepath.
Wow.
Not the
Not the oracle.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Oh my God! Don't do that right now, because it's how have we forgotten?
Calling out how bad all of
Zach,
our
you
memories.
have this.
The clairvoyant.
The clairvoyant! And we got it. All right. Zach Wilson for the win. The clairvoyant, exactly.
Damn.
And Raina's like, look,
sweating.
my employer, I don't work for Hydra. We want the obelisk. We'll pay you more, and we'll give you this. Look at this galanite. Look how cool it is. It absorbs energy, and it's 3 times harder than diamond. Okay, so maybe that might be a pretty neat trick with the ladies.
Sounds painful.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
You don't
it's
want
not
that.
soft. You want something
No.
soft.
You want suede.
Yeah, you want the suede. You know what moisture does to suede?
Oh, Lord.
Okay, so he just steals the galanite, and she's like, "Hey!" And he's just like, "Finders, keepers, losers, weepers." I'm paraphrasing. And he takes the obelisk, and he walks away. Thankfully, though, the galanite has that's not what it is.
The carbine.
Carbine. Why did I say galanite before?
Yeah, I thought it was like a synonym.
No, I'm not sure where I'm getting
don't
galanite. The carbine has a tracking device in it, and the whole S.H.I.E.L.D. team's gathered when they discover that there's a new transmission on that Hydra line that had been closed. It's got a phone number, and it's Raina's phone number.
Duh.
Before we go past the carbine, did anyone else think that, like, I know, Joyce and I, while we were watching, it was a ring.
Yeah, it looked like a ring.
Which, instantly you're like, an Infinity Stone,
That's
but it's
what I
not.
thought,
That would
but
be
it
such a
couldn't be.
weird, random, like,
Because also,
can't put it there because you can't hold it.
and the point that you guys made last week, the show is not big enough to introduce an Infinity Stone.
Well, there's a bunch
for
of
the
them.
Marvel
They
universe.
could stash one here.
I know,
this
but-
wouldn't have been it by any means. But, like, why a ring?
I don't know. I honestly can't tell you unless
Could it be a Mandarin ring?
it's one of the 10 rings.
Which they don't really deal with as much in Iron Man 3, but like they're like psychic rings that are all intelligent.
And they're all different stones.
Well, I
They
feel
all have
like
different powers.
I feel like this answer will come to us the more we learn about the Doctor and what he's capable of, where he comes from, and what he does. Who is he? It's also possible that the ring, many people are probably noticing just as you did that it is a ring, and will come to discover that it is actually a ring that some character had in the comics.
Right.
To me, it made sense, and I was surprised that it wasn't an ability that the Absorbing Man had. A material that absorbs energy sounds like something that the Absorbing Man would want. It would make him even more formidable. So I imagine that would be something that the Absorbing Man had in the comics, but apparently not. If you know, tweet at us, let us know where this ring comes from.
Do you think if he put the ring on, he would have survived whatever Coulson put into his back? That I forgot what the thing was called.
I get whatever Fitz did with that device. It was like a resonant frequency of some kind.
Of molecules.
Yeah, so I don't think it would have mattered what
You don't
he
think it would have
was. Although it
absorbed
absorbed
that?
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
he had it at the time.
But he wasn't wearing it. I mean,
He wasn't wearing
Was
it,
it
but he
like-
was clutching it. He had absorbed it because
He was trying to, because the Absorbing Man, at least in this incarnation, doesn't go full body very often.
it was his right arm that was turning into the carbine when you saw him switch to it, like before he got shot with the bullet.
Right, but like when he got shot with the bullet, it went all the way up to his head, and that absorbed energy gave him added strength when he was hunting down Hunter. He was.
Yeah.
I guess
I
so.
don't know.
But like Coulson took him by surprise, which is part of it. Like maybe he didn't
Exactly.
have it on his back.
Yeah.
Because he was switching, I think. Like you
true.
could see his face at that point. So maybe he got him on a
He
soft
was
spot.
vulnerable at that point.
Okay, I'll take
There
that.
could be an explanation.
True. Before we move any further, I just want to quickly mention iTunes. Folks, I say it every week. And why do I say it every week? Because it is the utmost truth. The best way that you can support us here at AfterBuzz TV and on this podcast is to go to iTunes and rate and review the shows that you listen to or that you watch on YouTube. We here at AfterBuzz, we put out 80 hours of completely free podcast after show content a week. It's a huge endeavor. There's a lot of moving parts. People are working super hard to make sure that you have not only the highest quality after shows, but the widest array of TV shows recapped on any network on the internet, period. You can't find variety like this anywhere else.
We do it all.
We do it all. It's the truth, or at least as much of it as we possibly can, because we're bursting at the seams here. 3 studios going at once, trying to put out all these shows, which once again are the low price of free. So if you felt compelled to thank us for our wonderful service, you can go to iTunes and rate and review these shows. It doesn't cost a dime. It only takes a minute. You get great shout outs here on the show, and it helps us get our sponsors, which keep us flowing. So please do. I would do shout outs tonight, but my phone is dead, so I cannot. But I will do shout outs for this week and next week on the show. I promise.
AfterBuzz.
Ooh, I haven't heard that one before.
It's a cool one. It's maybe my new favorite. Yeah. All right. So where were we? So Coulson and the gang call Raina, and I love how she's toying with them, and he's like, make this fast, and she's like, why? Don't you want me to stay on the line long enough so that you can trace me? And I'm like, oh, she's got his number.
She knows.
Yeah. I want to see a Raina Coulson sex scene. What? I mean love plot. That's what I meant.
You hear that, writers?
Yeah, I'm just saying they got chemistry. There's a tete-a-tete at play here.
Well, you don't want any build. You just like cut to the chase, guys.
Yeah.
Cut to the chase. We want to see all of it.
I'm into some build. You can build it.
Some foreplay.
Yeah,
A little bit.
but that's my new OTP.
Not too much.
Yeah, is Kolna or Racing.
Racing is not bad.
Racing's not bad.
I almost want to
Felena?
start shipping it because it's a good name,
Yeah.
not because I think the characters are all right.
Oh yeah,
for each other.
Felena instead of Felinda.
Felena.
Yeah,
Felena? Yeah.
or Rayful. Anyway, we need Megan and Kristen here if we're really going to get into OTP stuff. But in any case, she's like, listen, we got a tracking device. You're going to find him, and you are going to take him down. And she lets them know, I don't work for Hydra, I work for somebody else. You know, John Garrett was a visionary, and he saw visions, but, you know, he's gone now. And Coulson, afraid that she's giving too much away, takes it off speaker and continues it privately because he doesn't want Skye to get any kind of information about these symbols, which is silly.
And they didn't question him when he did that. At least not that I remember.
He is the director. You don't question that.
But they were there from the beginning.
Yeah, they have to know something's up. I mean, I imagine they're questioning it. We just didn't see
I
it.
guess.
Right, there just wasn't time. So they go after Creel, and Phil sends Hunter out with the other three, and he quickly takes them all out like a jerk. Because he is so hell-bent on revenge that he doesn't give a rat's ass about the plan.
Plus, he's just about the money anyway. Thinking he was going to get that too.
He's all about the money, money, money. Now they killed his honey, honey, honey. He could see S.H.I.E.L.D. burn and get something price tag. Anyway.
Worst beatbox ever.
Yep. Oh, it's no worse than my song. So
You
yeah,
had it at the right level.
he takes that shot and he absorbs it, and it's a great effect shot, really well done. He chases Hunter down, and just when we think all is lost and he's going to totally obelisk him, Coulson comes out of nowhere with the device and just fries his circuits, man, and causes him to just ice up.
That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, really, really, really nice.
Wait, he like glassed him.
Yeah, well, he was glass, and then he
became
turned
like shards of metal or mirror or something, and then he was glassed on the other side. He was broken on.
It looked
his
like
left
he was
side.
cycling through like things he had done. Like
everything.
he went
True.
Diamond. He went like Emma Frost at one point.
Yeah. But then, you know, I thought that he wound up becoming like Obelisk Death like material. That's what I thought he landed on.
Yeah, it was. Well, I guess however his ability functions, it somehow was keeping him from fully feeling the effects of the obelisk. So when you took away that, like, frequency sort of took away his ability, and that left him to just be consumed by it. Because it was still in there. Whatever Bakshi did to repress it,
Yeah.
it was still in there. Or maybe his cells just had the memory.
And it was doing worse for him because it wasn't fully coming out.
Yeah. Which, did Bakshi do something there? When he was like, he basically was like, take a deep breath and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
That felt too easy.
I don't know. There was a moment where it looked like somehow the obelisk patch on his arm went away.
That's what I mean. Like, he was like, if you trust that,
Maybe he's a gifted? I don't know.
like, he could be.
Or, I mean...
That's what I mean. Like, did he do something, or was it really as simple as,
I don't know.
If you just take a deep breath and calm down, it'll go back. It'll go
Well,
away.
I don't think
just
that
control his actions or the way he feels.
Yeah.
I don't know if
like
that's like
hooking
the
it.
scientific way of it working, but in any case, yeah, there was that weird moment. But Bakshi gets away, and you know, Coulson at Izzy's funeral is like, "Look, man, you know, yeah, you betrayed all my team, but I see something in you, and I need people. So, you know, come on, let's do it." And first things first, sell me out. What? And we...
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I thought, like, body double, like a life-size duplicate.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was a hologram.
Yeah,
And
or
then I
or a
got it.
hologram.
Yeah.
All made sense.
But I love this scene where he's like, "Look, Talbot, we're the good guys. We brought you a bad guy. Let us keep doing that. Give us the room to do it." And Talbot's like, "No, I'm gonna catch you." And Coulson's like, "Okay, buddy." And,
Look at our artillery.
yeah, and we've got multiple stealth planes, so suck it, Talbot. Loved it. We've also we touched on this scene between Skye and May. Where Skye's like, look, something's really wrong with him, alerting May to the fact that it's like, oh man, if Skye's noticing, it's getting pretty obvious. Coulson, we can't hold it back anymore. We have to start facing this problem head on. So she records him as he has an episode, and he makes this huge mural, the one that we saw in the billboards, the mysterious billboards that were just the words of creation, before we got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2 premiere here in LA. And I'm very, very excited about where that's going to go. And then we've also got Raina bring the obelisk to the doctor, who played by Kyle MacLachlan, who tells her to touch it. And she's like, what? You can't. And he's like, no, touch it. Take a risk. And she picks it up, and it lets her live. So the question is it sentient and it let her live, or she is not necessarily human?
That was my initial thought, and I'm going off what we heard her say at the end of the last season when she was talking to the mysterious doctor, and she was like, I forgot who she was talking to, but she said, me and Skye have something in common. And now, since we know that Skye probably isn't human, that Raina is probably not completely human either.
Well, we got a tweet from Alvin Cura, who said that Raina is maybe an inhuman, genetically engineered by a Kree.
I love this theory.
Yeah.
It totally fits. Kevin Feige has a huge love of the Inhumans.
Oh, great.
It's like well documented. He loves it. The Inhumans is this weird, like, subsection of Marvel Universe. It's been there for years, but has never really taken hold.
What is it? Can you explain it to people who don't know what it is?
It's hard to explain because I haven't read a lot of it. They did it in a recent storyline. They brought them in pretty big to the one of the big crossover books they did with Thanos.
Yeah.
They tied pretty heavily into Thanos.
Oh, into that new Thanos graphic novel?
Not into the Thanos graphic novel, into the, I'm trying to remember
Infinity
which.
Gauntlet?
No, it was a recent crossover event.
Okay.
I can't remember the title of it. But the Inhumans are this species, they live like, their king is like lives on the moon. They have this like whole little base thing there, but they each have different abilities. They're humans that are transformed, but basically at the end of this series, they all come together to Terrigen Mist, which is what the theory suggested. Whoever.
Oh yeah, that the obelisk is something called the Terrigen Mist.
Yeah, the Terrigen Mist gets released into the world's population, and anyone who has any inhuman ancestry, no matter how far back it is, becomes basically activated as an inhuman, and they just transform.
Interesting.
Overnight. And the big character that was created off of that's been wildly popular is the new Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, who's a 14-year-old Pakistani girl living in New Jersey.
Cool.
Great, fantastic character. If you haven't read the books, I highly recommend
Which
them.
I think people are speculating Skye could be.
That was my wild theory when I stopped by the panel last year. I no longer think that Skye could be Miss Marvel, mainly because I just want Carol Danvers to have her own story, and I want Kamala Khan to have her own story.
Okay.
But I love the idea that the Terrigen Mist could be in there.
All right. Well, here, since we're doing it anyway, let's go to predictions.
I have more insanity.
I can't wait. I love insanity.
Now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Pile it on, Zach.
Okay, I'll just keep it coming because it's gonna keep coming out. The only character who I can think that language looks like, somebody said that there was some Skrull language next to the carvings last season.
Oh, in like the fourth episode where it was like with the robot eye.
They said there was scroll language nearby it. I don't know about that.
scene.
I feel like they must be saving the scrolls for when they do the Secret
Invasion. Secret Invasion.
That's gonna be after Avengers 3. They're gonna be like, all right, we got to keep it small. We're gonna do Skrull Invasion, Secret Invasion in a movie. That's Secret Avengers or something.
Right.
Anyway. The only person that I think it reminds me of a little bit of Aboriginal language in a way, and there's an Avenger who's an Aboriginal named Manifold, who is only like in like one recent story, but also with the creation of like the language of creation story, it makes me think of this Captain Universe character that's tied into Manifold.
Oh man, we're gonna have to do
this is
like
really
some crazy
complicated.
research.
This is so complicated.
So
I can't
in-depth.
imagine that it would ever be brought into this show. Because to introduce somebody named Captain Universe to television audiences would be insane.
Yeah.
Nobody would buy that.
Joyce, what do you think is going on?
How can I follow that? My
I don't
goodness.
know.
With something
I'm
that
throwing you to
makes
the wolves.
sense.
Okay, well, I'm gonna totally jump back to, oh my goodness, Fitz. And well, we see in the previews that Simmons seems to be working for Hydra, which is insane. We were screaming in the watch room.
She's got to be a mole, right?
Exactly.
Secret mission?
There has to be a reason that we're not going to find out about till later on in the season. And I know that when she comes back, Fitz is either not going to believe she's actually there, or he is going to believe that she's there, and he's going to totally resent her and hate that she's back for whatever reason. And he's obviously going to work and get really close to Mac, which I really hope happens because Mac is totally his new right-hand man.
Yeah.
But maybe, I don't know, maybe Simmons has a good reason. Maybe she got dragged into it. Maybe there was some sort of, I mean, she can't just leave. It's not in her character to leave for Hydra.
I want to think that Coulson sent her, but it feels too easy.
Yeah.
I'm also just going to throw out there, just because this is broadcast television, that I'm pretty sure that Skye and Hunter are going to get together, because two attractive young white people on a show together, and they're not hooking up? Yeah, right.
Are you guys not shipping ship?
I don't know. She really...
Ship?
Shay and Trip?
Skye and Trip?
Skye and Trip? Or
You
Simmons
mean,
and Trip?
You mean Skip?
Skip.
Yeah. We were shipping
Whoops.
Trimmins, or Trippins. Because they had some chemistry last year, but that would be cool. That would be a nice surprise.
She liked Trip, or it seemed like she did, and you saw how Ghost Simmons looked at Mac.
Yeah. Interesting.
Almost in a
Foreshadowing?
distrusty way.
Yeah, that was like more distrustful.
Like a little jealousy.
There was that moment. There's a moment where I started to think that Simmons being there was not in his head.
Whoa. Like a psychic link?
No, well, not with the real Simmons.
Oh.
Like somebody nefarious putting that in.
Okay.
Oh, but I don't like that as a story as much as him just hallucinating.
But he
her.
went straight to his team after they were saved from the ocean, right?
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't. There was no in between where
he was in the hospital.
Okay.
So someone could have gotten into him, and there's no
possibility.
S.H.I.E.L.D. hospital
Or
anymore.
it could be a
True.
psychic thing of somebody like just telepathically putting things into his mind.
Maybe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us this week. We're going to be back next week with an all-new episode. Zach Wilson, where can the people find
You guys can catch me on Twitter and Instagram at @ThatZachWilson, and also hit AfterBuzz on so many other nerdy shows. I got Sleepy Hollow coming up next with Matt Lieberman.
Yes, you do.
I've got Grimm coming up soon. Doctor Who Classics, so much other stuff. Tune in.
Okay,
Nice.
Joyce.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JAJOURI, and on the Monday Night Gotham podcast and the every other Sunday night Sailor Moon podcasts.
Okay, and you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman, MattLieberman. You can also find all my videos for SourceFed and SourceFed Nerd on YouTube. Visit my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Matthew D. Lieberman. I'm doing a 60-day weight loss and health vlogging every day challenge thingy. It's a lot of fun. You can join me doing that. A lot of people are actually vlogging with me, which is great.
Sweet.
You can check that out. 2 months to Thanksgiving. # 2 months to Thanksgiving. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Bye!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.